cat. No. There we go. Good kitty. Cat wanted to hear Marduk. Good choice. Cat's got good musical choices. What's up, everybody? Is Marduk those of the Unlight? Because why the fuck not? Couldn't remember the last time I spun it. There's not much in there. Those of the Unlight should be called those of the album liner notes that are kind of hard to read. Better than Infernal Dominion, I'll give you that, but still challenging for us with I don't want to say limited eyesight, but that's exactly what it is. It's a concerted effort that I'm able to see anything. I love Marduk. Oh my god. This album could use a hell of a lot more lower end and rumble. But for what it is, it's good. Can't complain about the rest of it though, you know what I mean? Oh man, we got somebody, a viewer for a while, their first time commenter, Panopol? It's P-A-N-O-P-L. Panopol? Panoply. Like Panoply? I don't know. Go without the Y. I don't know. We'll just call you Pan. Well, Panopple here says, been watching this channel for a couple of months now. Appreciate it. Thank you. Man, the cattle prod always kills it. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That kindest fucking comments. Honestly, I feel like there's something kind of off about the world these days. Yep. I didn't grow up in the 90s or earlier, but everything now feels so centered on money, control, and desire. Yeah, those sins, man. 7 deadly sins coming out. He continues, or Panopple continues, those things matter, sure, but they shouldn't be the only things that matter. Yeah, Panopple says, I'm Asian, and where I am right now, I've seen young girls hanging out with older guys for cash, selling the idea of romance and letting them get a little bit too close. Sometimes both of them are even metalheads. Oh, so you've seen it in the scene. I get that money's important, but it still feels wrong, especially when minors are doing it. It's not really how you're supposed to get girls, in my opinion. Oh, when it's minors, that's like a... It's like a no. You shouldn't even be conversing with that person. You know. And, no, and you've seen it in the scene, but, yeah, girls, young ladies, women, they're looking for... You know, some of them are looking for a paycheck. You know, and they're using their body, you know, that's just, and there's dudes willing to go that far. For some people, that's their style. For some people, that's their style. That's how they roll. I knew people that were about that, and they end up finding a relationship that worked for each other, and I've seen those same relationships turn into, like, decent ones. Not one I want to be in, but decent ones. Yeah. And yeah. Like I said before, I was around prostitution, and I didn't partake. It's not how I roll. I like talking to women, messing with them, having a good time. You know. But yeah. But those sins, money, control, and desire. Man, people, they want the appearance, they want the style, they want the cars and the bling, and they want the bitches, you know. Man, that life is weird, dude. I mean, you look at it and, like, that same, like, you're talking about, like, club people or, like, young people doing it. just think old people do it too, man, when they've been together a long time. There's those old people, you know them. They got the big RV, the big fancy front yard. Like, all their shit's modeled perfectly. They want to be seen and show off their opulence. Showing off your opulence and how, like, flush you are, like, bro, I got so much money, I just do this. Yeah, that's a thing humans do. This is when you're young, it's noticeable, but when you're older, it's subtle. But it's still there. Like those guys who drive up in big jacked up trucks, and their trucks are never dirty because their trucks never do any work. I have a truck and it's beat to shit. Why do work in my truck? Well, it's not beat to shit, but you get it. It's worn. Nothing irks me more than seeing those Jeeps. Jeeps. What the fuck is, why are Jeeps popular? Jeeps and fucking ducks. Fuck that shit. So fucking, you know what I'm sick of seeing? Jeeps without the off-road tires, just the normal street tires. You get an off-road vehicle with normal street tires on it. Are you fucking kidding me right now? This tells me you don't do anything with that. And then some of these people are like, oh, I don't live in an area where I can do this. Then why do you fucking own the vehicle? It's like owning a boat and you're not near water. I know people that own boats, but they get in the lake, which is just a dammed up river. So it's just a long lake. It's a river with a big dam. A bunch of those out here in the mountains. Tennessee Valley Authority built a whole bunch of them fucking things to supply electricity for all these rural folks. And now it's just like we drink up so much electricity that the dams don't cover it all. Whoops. Too many people moved out here. Too many people moved into the hills, and these dams all of a sudden just didn't provide shit anymore. I mean, they help, but they don't pay the bills. But opulent motherfuckers with fancy pickup trucks and shit, like that's a thing too. Just wait till you're in your 40s and 50s. And you see how people do it. And those same people that used to party and get laid, hey guys in your 20s, all those dudes who party and get laid and like do cocaine and shit like that, just know that if you're like doing cocaine in your 20s and 30s, by like your 40s, you won't be able to get an erection. I don't know that from personal experience because that never happened to me, but I know so many dudes in their 40s and 50s and they talk about like they can't get erections anymore and they found out it was due to the cocaine. And I'm like, that's why I did coke a few times. I didn't care for it. I passed after a while. I was like, I don't want the fucking headache that brings. It brings such an awful headache. When you come down off that shit, it's the worst feeling in the world. Yeah, worst hangover you ever had. But yeah, some of those dudes have trouble in the plumbing department. I'm like, sad, so sad. I guess that life of excess. You finally exceeded your allotted minimum of excess. Or whatever. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But they had too much. And just, hey, pineapple, man, if you're just, moderation, man. You know, no one's saying you can't have a good time and have a night with a young lady. And, ladies, nothing says you can't have a fun night every now and then. But it consumes you. That lifestyle consumes you. You gotta know where the exits are. You gotta know, like, okay, it's time to get a normal job and just chill. I can still go see shows. I can still go to club every now and then. I can still do things. Just need to, like, figure out the long haul. Because if you make it to a certain point and you ain't died yet, you're gonna be around for a while. Like, you make it past 25 and you ain't dead yet, dude, you're gonna be around for a while. You might as well start planning for it. That's all I can say. Like, 21 to 25, have a blast, make some money, go do some shit. But man, 25, you think about locking that down, easing it down, so by the time you're 30, you're on a nice coast. Like, you can handle this shit. Because that lifestyle will consume you. Lifestyle will consume you. Man, got one over here. This is a real story. It really happened. It didn't happen to me, but I lived in the area, so I know all about it. All right, guys. You got vehicles, right? Vehicles run on gasoline. Gasoline is produced from a refinery. A refinery takes crude oil, breaks it down into constituent parts. One of the parts they break it down to is in gasoline. Got the process? Good. Now, there's many of these facilities where I grew up. And they were good places to go work. Yeah, good. Being an operative orders, you're going to find out. So, I did my time as any young man would in that area, and you did your time in those refineries. A lot of the support, what you really want to get is a support job outside of the refineries, but you still find yourself in them from time to time. So, one of the famous ones that was around us was Phillips 66. Phillips 66, I believe its address is Deer Park, Texas, although it may be Pasadena, Texas. But in the 1990s, I don't remember the date, I would say 95. 94, 95. No, 92. Anyway, Phillips 66, Pasadena, Texas. Just go with that one. An explosion. So we call these things units, and it's basically where the separation processes are going on, and sometimes containment of other byproducts. As they're being reduced, sometimes units will hold a product to be diverted elsewhere, and sometimes the units themselves are storing the product that you want, that you're actually aiming for, like gasoline. Well, anyways, I don't recall what unit this was, but this unit had a terrible, terrible day. There was an explosion. When I mean explosion, this is like a literal bomb going off. And I don't mean like a little, this is like, pew, like airdrop bomb. I was in school. I believe I was taking, no, I was in junior high, I think. Yeah, I was in junior high. I was taking some kind of test. I don't recall what, but it was in an English class. So I can only imagine it was spelling or grammar or something like that. Taking this fucking test, and it sounded like a firecracker had gone off in the room with us. It sounded like somebody took the biggest firecracker you could find, like a big old motherfucker, some red ones. It sounded like that went off right by your head, but there we were in a classroom, everybody was taking tests, clearly nobody did. So we started just looking and realizing that explosion came from outside somewhere. We thought, oh my god, a car bomb. I don't know why we thought car bombs, but man, the Irish were blowing up stuff in the 80s, so we still remembered. Don't the Irish car bomb things? Maybe we got car bombed. That idea didn't last long when somebody realized it was a refinery. A refinery blew up. By lunch, I think we figured out that's what in fact happened. But just know that this junior high I was in was miles away. Probably 5 miles as the crow flies, which means in a straight line. If you want to drive to it, it might be a much longer route. So about 5 miles as the crow flies. Straight line. 5 miles, maybe longer. 25 miles tops. Yeah, and it was an explosion that was absolutely deafening. To where, like, you had a couple minutes of just sitting there shaking that off. Like, what in the fuck was that? Just looking around, seeing if everybody's okay. Is the building falling apart? Is there sirens? No sirens? Refinery. And that's the worst part about living in that side of Houston. Every now and then, in your lifetime, you will hear a big boom. Like, boom. It's like, whoa, what was that? Well, I remember another time, something else in another town blew up and all our cabinets vibrated. It was like having a Richter scale, like a 3 or 4.0 on the Richter scale to make your cabinets wobble or something like that. Yeah, it happened to us one time. Well, anyways, I found out many years later that, when I found out afterwards, that everybody on that unit died with the exception of one man. And it was like 20-something dudes. So 20-something dudes perished minus one man. He did not die for some reason. I found out years later some dudes who knew those dudes. So I did some, my friend, his dad worked there. And I met his dad. And he didn't talk about it and we didn't ask because we knew that was a touchy subject. I heard about the explosion that killed all your friends. Yeah, you don't bring that shit up. Marduk, those of the unlight. So, why am I telling that story? So, many years later, I was now out of school. I was literally done with school. So, I was out of high school. So this happened when I was in junior high. Now I'm out of school, done with it. Another explosion. That same refinery. That same unit. One person is dead. The rest are fine. Who was the guy that died? The lone survivor from the one, like, years previous. How fucking trippy is that, dude? boom, everybody dies but one guy. 15 years later or whatever, he's the only one that dies in a very similar. Everything was the same. And he was the only one that died. Y'all see that movie? Final Destination and shit like that? I laughed hysterically when that movie came out because I knew a dude that happened to. I didn't know him, but I knew of him. Like, he avoided death, and years later, death came right back and got him again. What? That shit's trippy. Final Destination was funny, but I never saw the sequels. But, yeah. Real life situation there. That actually occurred. Does anybody have a story like that? Man, that's kind of wacky, huh? Marduk is so fucking badass. This is why you like Marduk. This is why we listen to extreme music. So yeah, that refinery business. I had to get out of that. I knew dudes who spent their entire lives in those refineries, made a ton of money. But you know, like I was talking just earlier, about how those wants and desires consume you. Man, I'm going to tell you, a lot of them refinery workers, a lot of their old ladies cheated on them. Yeah, man, it wouldn't, because, like, they'd make so much money that their wives didn't have to work. So they would, like, have kids and then, like, do the whole child with the school thing, the PTA, and then all these events, so their kids would grow up all smart and awesome and stuff. And a lot of them did, having that one parent always there. But a lot of times those moms would, like, after the kids were gone, that mom would start slutting around with all the other moms and shit like that. And then oh yeah. Oh, those refineries, like, some of those old ladies and some of those dudes got into weird orgies. I knew groups of them. Sex parties, man, that was how they rolled. But man, that goes back to my point, dude. Like that lifestyle consumed a lot of these people. Like, that town was weird. That town had such a weird vibe. It's like these weird underground sex cults. And all the, like, you could tell the kids that grew up in that because they were always a bit different. They were always a bit different than the other kids. Yeah, I heard this a long time ago. I was like, well, that's the baddest fucking song ever. What track is this? On Darkened Wings. Yes, of course. On Darkened Wings. How the fuck did I forget that? I've forgotten more metal than most people know. Alright, wants, desires, they'll fucking consume you, man. And they, you know, you'll do those jobs, you'll take that stuff and just keep pushing it. A lot of those refinery guys would have probably been better if they had, like, cashed out sooner, it seems like. It seems like a lot of them paid off their houses relatively quick and then were, like, really eager to go back into debt and keep working. I never understood that. I figured some of those guys would have cashed out. I knew some guys that did cash out early. And they used to go lived out in the country. I knew a lot of you dudes that did that. They did like 20 years, got that fucking payoff. They bought out, they got the retirement, then bought out their contract or whatever, or however they did that shit. I went in the country and just fucking farmed and did like the easy life. Yeah, the older I got, I realized those old dudes had the right idea. Get the fuck out of the game as fast as possible and go live like really rural and just avoid the world. You know, when I was coming up, I kept thinking, how do I get on top? How do I just keep chasing that money, keep chasing that paper, keep chasing that dream? You realize you're just running around like a dog chasing their tail. Yeah, fuck dogs. Damn cat. No, I'm a cat. We say fuck dogs. Okay, the cat says fuck dogs. But yeah, man, and I realized I had to stop chasing my fucking tail. You know? And that's just advice to me. Some of y'all, maybe that's not what you want to do. That's what I did. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's just preference. Well, anyways, Cattle Prod, Appalachian Warlord. See ya.